Episode 114 of the Wilderness Podcast is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. Go to patreon.com/thewildernesspodcast to support the show. Our supporter of the week is Taylor Garofalo. We're also brought to you by Audible Trial. Receive a free month and a free audiobook at audibletrial.com/wild. Welcome to episode 114 of the Wilderness Podcast. I'm your host, Dilz, and with me is my co-host, Deagin.
Hey, how's it going?
This week, we get an update on the Kebos Lowlands that is going to be coming out at the beginning of January, and we get the holiday event, the good old Christmas event of the year. But we also had the big Deadman Mode tournament happen over on the weekend, and a few things going on within the community itself. So some interesting topics from some of the Q&As that have happened. One of our beloved J-Mods is leaving the team, or has already left the team. And we get another J-Mod that joined us a couple weeks ago that we haven't actually talked about. But before we get into that, as always, Deagin, how was your week?
Not too eventful. I've mainly just been working. Path of Exile, I've been kind of just playing that.
On the Path of Exile now, eh?
Yeah. I guess if you've never heard of it, it's an ARPG, so it's like Diablo.
What happened with Warframe?
Path of Exile update.
Oh,
that's what happened. So on the 7th, they had a really big update called like the Betrayal season. So with like a lot of these ARPGs, which are pretty much like it's like a top-down view of your character, and you kill like millions of like for some reason they're always demons. I don't know if you've noticed that, but
I don't know. I look over at you playing the game, and it looks almost identical to Diablo from what I see.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same like play style. It's the same like theme.
Graphics look similar.
It's like skeletons and demons and
your health and your, I guess, mana are like little orbs. Like it's the exact same that Diablo does it. It's weird.
Yeah. If you're a fan of Diablo 2 and you didn't like Diablo 3, you would like Path of Exile because people say that Path of Exile is the true successor to Diablo 2. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I've mentioned it in the past. I think like past month and a bit, I've brought it up a little bit. But I mean, it's free to play. I think I'm at like 350 total hours played on that game.
Damn.
I've been playing on and off for about 2 weeks. Not like I'm kidding, but I've been playing. I've been playing for a couple years on and off. Like I'll just kind of sit down and play for a couple days when a new season comes out. And like the way the game works, because obviously you just kind of kill guys and get better armor, and that's it. To kill harder guys to get better armor.
Yeah, okay.
It gets boring. So the way they keep these games keep it spicy is by having these like seasons where like there'll be like a server that you have for 3 months that you play, where they have like cool new. I've mentioned it for like what they should do for Deadman Mode. Like I'll like mention the Deadman season. Like, I think it was Deadman season, right? It kind of gets boring after a while.
Yeah, so they they tweak the way the rules are and mechanics and stuff.
But the like ARPGs typically will have it very different. Like Path of Exile has like completely brand new themes that come out like every 3 months.
Okay.
Keep it fresh.
Is it similar? Because I know Diablo does the same thing. They have seasons and it wipes.
So Diablo 3 is for baby. Oh no, I'm kidding. it's Diablo 3 is fun, but it's very watered down. So when they do seasons, it's kind of like they do balance changes and they like add 1 or 2 things sometimes. Okay. Diablo will have, Path of Exile, like this season, they completely reworked like half the game.
True. In
terms of like how you interact with like certain things. They've put in a lot of effort.
What do you get from being a top player in a season? Are there uniques that carry over to the base game?
Yeah, actually. If you like get world first, like so the game goes up to level 100, like your character, and RuneScape meme 92 is halfway to 99. For Path of Exile, it's like 98 is halfway to 100. So it slows, and when you die, you lose experience. So like you can lose like 2 hours of grinding by just being dumb.
No, that sucks.
But first people to get like level 100, they get like special items for like the standard mode, and they'll get like cosmetics because it's a free to play game, and so they make their money through like cosmetics and stuff.
Okay.
And they have like challenges you can do, and when you do them, you get cosmetics, like unique cosmetics at times. They have like cool little like seasons, or like they'll set out some points throughout the year where they have like speedrun competitions. But they have cool little tweaks where like you start off with these items, and then first want to do this. You know, like let's say they have like 50 they call them races, but like they'll have like a season of like 50 races that happen over the course of a month. And, you know, you could place, like, top 500 or top 1,000, but you just accumulate points. And so even if you're someone like me that, like, isn't the best at the game, you could do okay maybe once or twice and still get something cool. It's like the company is, like, similar to Jagex in terms of, like, how they interact with their community and stuff.
Okay.
That's why I like the game so much. Oddly enough, like, it took me like 300 hours of like casually playing the game. Like I didn't like dive into like, how do I optimize? Like I would just sit down, and if you Google Path of Exile, like talent tree, it's a kind of a meme where it's like a forest instead of a talent tree.
Yeah, I've seen it.
A billion skill points.
Yeah, it's very overwhelming.
Yeah. And so I would play it and just like, oh, that's cool. You know, that's how I make my builds. Oh, that's cool. And then you'd get stuck, and because the game's like kind of challenging, right? And just the way like how you do damage and how you survive, like in terms of how you like itemize your guys properly, it's like a kind of complicated. At least it is for me. But like 300 hours into it, I've like started to like actually try to get good at the game and figure it out.
Okay.
And then I've gotten like decently far into the season in terms of like progression, and it's like it's weird because like I enjoyed the first 300 hours of like, is that similar? I'm only bringing this up because it's really similar to RuneScape. How as a kid or something, you play for like hundreds of hours casually. Yeah. And it's really fun. And then you're like, I want to figure out how to like PK. I want to be a good PKer, or like, I want to get good at raids. Yeah. And then now you feel like you're like, okay, now I'm kind of getting to the meat of the game. Like it's not end game, but like you're like really like playing the game now.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I think so, yeah.
Like you could like level Slayer and just kind of chill and just like play or have fun on RuneScape for thousands of hours. But then if you want to like do the heavy like 4-way switch, like I'm gonna deep wildy PK, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And ARMs with like a toxic, and you're like kind of going crazy.
It is kind of easy to avoid all of the mechanically skilled content, I suppose.
Yeah.
And you see it all the time where level 120 is like, I want to learn how to boss. I want to learn how to raid.
I want to get my fire cape.
Yeah, sure.
People make fun of me at Neve's cape. I want to get a fire cape.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a buddy who actually went and got his barrel gloves and fire cape at like 118.
Yeah.
Because people kept making fun of him with his combat bracelet.
I've had enough. I'm done.
Yeah. And his obby cape. Yeah. I don't know. So I've been really enjoying that game. I've been putting like a lot of my free time into that.
Cool.
And then... yeah, just working a lot, which is fun.
Always is.
Yeah. Oh, I've been playing Call of Duty Black Ops, the Battle Royale.
Okay.
And I only bring this up because like I mean, I make a lot of Fortnite jokes and shit, or I have in the past, like V-Bucks and stuff.
Good old V-Bucks.
I've played like a decent amount of H1, PUBG, and Fortnite, like the Battle Royales.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't want to sound like braggy, but like I've been pretty well. H1, I'm just bad at. I hate that game. It sucks. But like the like PUBG and Fortnite, like when I played a bunch of like FPS, I was like pretty good at those games.
Yeah.
Where like I had like a 40% win rate in duos and shit, and like a 30% in solos for Fortnite over like hundreds of games. Like I was like pretty decent, but like I'm so bad at Blackout.
Okay.
I have 100 games and no wins.
Wait, what's a win though? Is it being first?
Yeah.
Not even
like,
top 3?
Being like the last one alive.
True.
Like I'd play Fortnite and there's like all these like 5-year-olds, right, dabbing and doing like smoking V-Bucks and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you just like you take them out. You know, they got bedtime. Got to put them to bed early, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And then PUBG. I mean, Europeans. Okay. They like that game, so they're laggy, and you just take them out, I guess. I don't know. Like, but then there's something about this game that, like, I've never been so bad at a game, but I've enjoyed it so much. It's weird.
I'm trying to think if I've ever been in that situation with a game. I'm sure I have. I mean, Fortnite, I suck at. I tried it, like, probably about a year ago. I tried getting into it, and I was so bad at that game, and yeah, I'd have kids trashing on me.
Yeah,
It's a weird feeling when kids are like half your age and they're just talking, and you can't really. You're like, yeah, I mean, kind of agree with you at this point.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't even think I can really play FPSs anymore. I'm just I haven't played them in so long, and I'm terrible. The last one I was playing was Battlefield 1, the World War One game. But
yeah, I remember you talking about that. Yeah,
that game was fun as hell, and every now and then I would do all right. But that's because you just like shoot some like mortars, and you just get lucky.
Boom, triple kill. This is a good game. It's a good game. Yeah.
That's why I like that game, because you don't have to be good at aiming shit. You just gotta be lucky and find some bunker with a bunch of people.
Truth. I don't know. I really like FPS, and I get super weird when I play them. I get like really excited, and like, I mean, you probably heard me. I make fucking weird noises, and I'll be like, if I like own some noob, I'll just like start making weird giggles and like, oh, like that's like a classic noise I'll make. I don't know, something about that. It's like super fun.
Do you remember that game for PlayStation 3? And it was
Mag?
Yeah,
I knew it. That game was huge.
I love that game.
Like 126 v 126.
Oh, that game was awesome. Yeah. I remember joining a clan of people, and like the people who were like the leaders, quote unquote leaders, were actually in the army, and they're like, you'd be in a squad with them, and they're using all their army commands, and it was fucking intense. I love that game. I got hard into that one.
Yeah.
That was fun.
You get like super serious. It's like, no man left behind. Your teammate's down. You res him.
Yeah.
And you're like, I just want to fucking shoot some guys. Like, I'm just sitting there. We're all like dying, but resing each other over and over again. 'Cause at some point they're gonna miss, and you can kill them.
And then they're like, "We need a medic! Medic! I'm on your 6!" And you're just like, "Shit! What do I do? What do I do? Go! 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 Cover him!" You're like, "Oh my god!
My 6 or your 6?"
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I didn't know I could lose 100 times in a row and be like, let's play another. Let's just say when you're playing, there's 100 people in a game. You're playing squads, which is 4-man. We somehow come 30th.
Wait,
yeah, that's how good I am at the game.
I was doing the math there, and I was like, "What?"
We're so bad that we die, and it's like we were like in the next game. Sure. I have no idea. We'll like all get wiped. I mean, obviously there's like people queuing up in 2s and stuff. Or 3
you're so bad you get penalized. You can't play the next game.
Like, there's a common like joke to my buddies where like we're dropping in, and I'll say I'll just say some dumb shit like, oh, like land, like we'll land, and then immediately we'll be the first people to die, and we're just like, get another quick one, let's get another quick one in, let's go. But like 8 games in 5 minutes, it's ridiculous. So I can see why the kids get addicted to like battle royales if they suck.
Speaking of Fortnite, I was at the mall today. I don't know if anyone who's listening is familiar with the store Spencer's. You know that store?
I know, but I don't know what they sell.
I think they just sell like edgy stuff,
like Hot Topic.
But then you go in the back and they'll have drinking, like beer pong stuff, and like dildos and a bunch of like
where are they located?
I don't know if it's in the mall, but
I was gonna say it'd be kind of.
They are in the mall. But I don't know if it's at the same store that I went. I just know when I was like in high school, you'd go into one to find some like novelty fun. They had like I can't remember. But you'd go there to buy gifts for like a friend that was like kind of silly. They had like, it was like penis soap, which was like a soap, but it was like a donut, so it was like a hole in the middle. I don't know.
Oh, I thought it was like the hand things that you just comes out the tip.
No, it was like a bar of soap.
Oh.
But they'd have like silly gifts like that you could just like kind of novelty stuff.
Yeah.
But then they'd also have like dildos, which it wasn't like some weird novelty joke thing unless you were just, I don't know.
Monster Rock 4000. We come in 4 colors.
Yeah,
literally.
At the same time, if you were like actually looking for like sex toys, you wouldn't want to go there. You'd want to go to like an actual sex shop, right?
So it's something for like kids to giggle at while they're like buying something else. Is that it?
I guess so. Anyways, as I was walking by there, they had a huge banner that just said Fortnite. Like it wasn't even like Fortnite sold. It just said Fortnite. Like you could tell.
We're hip.
So that's the type of clientele they're trying to attract.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you go to any Halloween shop, if you're like a parent or anything.
Yeah.
The kids are like all, I want to be a Fortnite player for Halloween. $90 for some shitty outfit.
What's a Fortnite player look like?
Just like the characters you play in the game.
True.
John Wick. It's one of them. Skull Trooper.
What?
I just know that from a meme. It's like they have like skins. I don't know. I don't really know. Anyways, let's what'd you do this week? Let's move on.
Yeah, I'm getting that age where I'm starting to get detached from all like the hip stuff. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
I play board games with these guys, and a few of them are like 5 years younger or something, and they'll like be memeing pretty hard, and I don't have a fucking clue what they're talking about. I feel like I'm like 40 or 50 years old.
Good. Okay, this is a good reference because I'm kind of in the know. The things that we said and did on MSN are coming back, but ironically, that's epic.
Oh,
like people are like, dude, that's an epic win. Like people are saying that again now.
Yo,
for some
FTW.
reason. Yeah.
RuneScape FTW.
Now that's a victory royale. That's from Fortnite, but you know.
Yeah, no, it's just I'm getting that part where I'm just like, I don't understand. Like a conversation will happen, and I'm sitting there like, what the fuck? I have no idea what the hell this conversation's about. It's a weird feeling, but
yeah, it's stupid.
It's all a part of growing up, I guess.
Nah.
With the Simpsons thing. Is it the kids that are wrong? Am I wrong or are the kids wrong? No, it's definitely the kids.
Yeah.
Anyways, my week. What have I done? My school's finally wrapped up the end of the week, last week. So that was good. I got some time off now. So I've been able to play some actual RuneScape. But then Christmas is coming up, so I've been, I procrastinated everything and scrambling to get my Christmas shopping done. But yeah, what have I done? I've done a lot of Slayer. I'm not really sure. I'm just doing it. I had a Dagginoth task again. I had to kill like 200 of them. Got 2 Zerker rings and 2 Archer rings.
Jesus.
Yeah, I made like almost 20 mil from that task. It was pretty nice.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So that's an epic win if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, way to dab on those Dagginoths.
just doing that and just kind of doing bossing whenever I can. So I got a Cerberus task right now, and I've talked about this before, but I'm just, now that I have the pet, I got the pet a while ago, but I'm super demotivated from actually going through with the whole task. Because sure, you can get primordials, which are what, like 25 mil? Something like that?
Well, yeah.
The crystal?
Yeah.
You can get like the Inferno, the
Smoldering?
Yeah, smoldering thing. How much is that?
Probably like 3 mil, 1 to 3 mil.
Yeah, 1 mil.
Yeah.
It's something, and then you can get the Eternals, which is like 4 or 5 mil.
Yeah, Pegasians.
Not bad. Yeah, then you get Pegasians, like 80k.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's not efficient to kill Cerberus in terms, like, experience-wise. It's not EHP. You're better off cannoning Hellhounds.
Yeah.
I only kill Cerberus because it's a pretty chill boss, and, like, it's nice to go in there with, like, max gear, bludgeon, spectral with a whip, and then, like, dagger and defender, and just, like, do my switches as some guy in, like, Darox watches me. Darox, like, plating legs, and the Hasta watches me do it. Or a guy with a T-bow waiting to crash me because he's a dick.
True.
But, like, I like Cerberus.
I like him, but, like, you're really hoping for those primordial drops.
Or the pet. I'm hoping for the pet.
Well, I've already got the pet, so that's the thing. Like, a lot of the boss in the back of my head, I'm like, even if it, like, I was doing KBD because I had to kill 60 black dragons. Normally, you'd want to do, like, brutal black dragons because it's way better money.
Yeah.
But being able to go for that pet is kind of this incentive that makes it a little bit more fun to do, even though you're not expecting to get it. Still,
and there might be a time where you're like, I'm going to hunt pets, and then you'd want to do it on task because it's faster, right?
Yeah, exactly. So might as well do them now. Yeah. Then the Cerberus, where I'm like, there's really only one drop that I want, and besides that, you're not really going to be making much money. So part of me is like, okay, maybe I'll do some of it there and hope for that drop. The other half of me wants to just go cannon the Hellhounds or even skip the task and move on to the next one and hopefully get like even like gargoyles, right? Then I can at least go for that pet, or God forbid blue dragons. Ugh.
Yeah, I think I like to do bosses. Like I've been like, I think I have a Calphite queen task or Calphite task. I'm just doing the queen.
Yeah,
And it's bad experience, but like at some point want to go for the pet, and then also like it gets boring. Like I don't know like how close I am to 99. I'm like partially into 98.
Yeah.
But like it's kind of boring to just like canon and watch Netflix for like 30 hours straight. I'd rather add even if it adds extra like 10, 12 hours. Like I did like 10 hours of a gargoyle task doing Dusk and Dawn. That was AIDS, but it makes Slayer a bit more interesting instead of just like canon or like just like AFK, and you're just kind of like what I would do like if I was streaming and I get those boring tasks, those ones where it's like Greater Demons or something, right? And you're going to where's that place on Zaya, the Chasm?
Yeah, Catacombs?
No, the
Chasm of Fire.
Yeah.
Or Chasm, I guess.
Yeah, Chasm, the Chatham. I don't know. I would just like open up Slay the Spire and play another game because it's so boring.
Yeah.
And I can't put myself through like demons, Suckwas, fire giants. You know what I mean? Where it's like you're just cycling cannonballs and you're just losing money.
Yeah, that's true. The reason I do kind of like getting the canon tasks is because I find by the time I'm bored of that task, it's over. And you're on to see what your next task is.
I like a healthy mix, but I find I'll get a Jad task, Cerberus task, Jad task, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're just like, for fuck's sakes. Or you just get like, you have a day of canning. It's either like a day of bossing, or like I'd prefer like a nice like
mix.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be fun when that new Slayer comes out for Kebos Lowlands.
Yeah.
That'll be pretty sweet. Besides that, I've just been doing herb runs and tree runs.
Yeah, getting ready for the update.
That, yeah, pretty much. And if I'm like at work or something, or if I'm just not able to get on my computer, I can hop on mobile real quickly and just kind of, it takes like 10 minutes to do a herb run.
Yeah.
That's getting your gear and everything. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, on the topic of gearing up for Kebos, you want to segue this into news?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. So I guess we kind of gave it away already, but the first thing we'll talk about is the Kebos Lowland progress update. Spoilers: it is going to be delayed an extra week. And they explain that they have this point system, which sounds very corporate, but they have like a point system where I forget what word they use, but like when they hit certain, like, call them like story points, which is like when they hit certain points of like the update being done, there's like, they like get points just to like show like if we need 1,000 points and we're at 300 points, we know how much we have to do.
Okay, I kind like when I worked construction, we had always had this. It was always a thermometer. Don't know why, but the idea was, close these amount of houses when we fill the thermometer up. I don't know.
We start a new one.
Yeah, pretty much.
Epic. But
you guys don't get yelled at.
Yeah. Yeah, so the way they explain it is like, it's pretty much they use that as a measurement, but they also relay their progress with the marketing team. Right. Which is weird how they specified that, which makes me feel like they're being rushed. But, I guess every development team is always rushed forever. They're always under a lot of stress to get things done.
Kind of get it, because they did talk about this on one of the Q&As, where, it's kind of obvious, but so RuneScape 3 doesn't have a big update coming out in January, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure how they're doing it, but it's just, they don't...
Some big microtransaction update, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. But they notice if a blank amount of time goes by without some big update coming out, the drop-off begins to happen, and it's kind of harder to pull them back.
Yeah.
So even them coming out and saying this is a progress update, it makes people who are like maybe on the fence, like I'm getting kind of bored, they'll hang on to this a bit longer because like, oh, they're kind of giving us information on what's coming out and I want to play that when it happens.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense where maybe they're like, you have to have it out in January and then the next one's going to be coming out June, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly. They're not going to give us the actual numbers, but
Yeah. Strategically timed updates, though.
yeah, to keep people not bored and not falling out of it.
Yeah, keep them boys NMZing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's like, not gonna read like or talk about the whole thing. 'Cause a lot of it's like Mod Kieran, Monroe, and Ed kind of just talk about like their duties within the update, and they're just making sure things come along properly, all that stuff. But yeah, so like, it will be a week later than they expected it, but it's not a big deal. But so as of right now, what they've shown us is the alchemical Hydra, and
looks sick.
They have like the transition phase, I guess, when you decapitate it and it changes colors. Decapitate one of its heads, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And it transitions colors. It like looks pretty cool, yeah. And then they talk about like some of their challenges that they want, or some of their like obstacles they want to keep in mind when creating a boss fight. Which I guess if you want to create a boss, these are some things you want to keep in mind. The player should be able to improve their odds in the face of every challenge. So this can include avoiding a mechanic altogether or trying to reduce the amount of incoming damage. The player wants to feel satisfaction from doing something right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next one is avoid screwing the player over. For example, spawning a deadly thing on the floor right next to the player and giving them no time to react. If the player receives a punishment of any kind, it should be because they failed to do the action designed for in the above point.
Yeah.
So they don't want to be like 80 damage because you don't want to be here for 20 kills.
Or when you look at Theater of Blood during the bloat fight, when the hands will fall from the ceiling and land on you, they had it so they were falling too fast, so you didn't have enough time to react.
You literally didn't have to, like, you would be doing the fight correctly, and it was RNG.
Yeah, so you got hit, you're screwed, and maybe you did dodge it, but you dodged into another one. You didn't have time to react for that second one.
Yep. A fight should generally not get easier as it goes on. It's very easy to fall into this trap, and I'm sure you can all think of bosses in other games where this is the case.
Can you?
Yeah, Dark Souls.
A boss is easier as the fight goes on?
Yeah, which Dark Souls is it? I'm going to fuck this up. Dark Souls 3, is it? With the when you fight the 3 golden dudes.
I've never played Dark Souls.
Okay. Well, it's been so long since I played Dark Souls.
So what they're saying is the opening fight is the hardest, and then
it gets easier.
Yeah, so each phase it gets easier.
So my example for like Dark Souls, like you're fighting 2 or 3 dudes at once, and then you kill one and it gets easier, and you kill another and it gets easier, and then like it's super easy and you kill the other guy.
Okay. I know, I think it was in World of Warcraft, the Onyxia fight, I think it was Onyxia, maybe it wasn't, but there's 2 dragons you had to fight. You'd have 2 people, you had to take them both down at the same time.
Yeah.
Then, but I know once you killed the one dragon, it was just DPS as fast as possible, the last dragon.
Yeah, that's how it is, yeah.
So then I guess I can get it, the mechanics kind of slowly fade away. Interesting.
Yeah. Some boss designs in just other games in general, you can probably think of some that just aren't good. If you're fighting multiple bosses in a game, typically the mechanics or the way they, like, if they try to make it harder as the fight goes on, isn't done in a good way.
Yeah.
It's just how, like, you rush down one guy, like, now, it's just how it is.
Yeah. Well, if you guys know any examples of where that isn't an example of a boss fight where it gets easier as the fight goes on, let us know, because I'm kind of interested. I can't entirely think of any off the top of my head.
I would probably say Dusk and Dawn.
Gets easier?
Yeah.
I guess. But then again, once you kill Dawn, is it? And you fight Dusk? Maybe. Anyways, when you fight the melee guy and you've killed the ranged one, he does make it so you have to get out of that electric square.
Spam click.
It's spam click. But if you don't spam click fast enough, you're going to get probably killed.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that fight kind of goes against what they say for these rules. But yeah, we'll go on to the next one. So
yeah, true.
The fight should be cohesive. Mechanics should work well together if presented together. visually, the mechanics must make sense for the boss.
Yeah.
Of course. Limit downtime. Dusk and dawn. All right. Player doesn't want to be waiting around. And the player should never have to keep track of more than 3 to 4 things at once. If they do, it must be because they've messed something up.
Would you say Ohm goes against that last one?
It depends how hard you look. I'd say no, but if you're super tryhard and you're like running the head, you're doing like the 4-1 method or the 1-0, which is you do like 1 attack per cycle. That's the 1-0. You have like an Elder Maul of the God Sword, and you're running through specific points, manipulating the boss to turn his head. I've explained it like a lot of times in the past.
Yeah, I've learned to run the head with a group. So much easier. It is so much easier to run the head when you're in a group than it is to solo.
Well, it's different. It's very different.
Yeah, it's very different, but it's literally like shoot twice, move 2 squares over. Shoot twice, move 2 squares over. When you're in a group, it's much easier.
Well, so if you're, from my understanding, if you're with like 3+ people and you're fighting, maybe even 2, to avoid mechanics, it's up to the person on the melee hand, because he will do, I think it's the swappy pair up mechanic when he looks at the melee guy, and he has to, or they, sorry, not every raider's a boy, but they have to like run the head. They have to like run to the other side of the head.
Yeah.
But in a solo, it's very different. You have to run through 3 like specific spots if you're doing a 1-0, and if you're doing a 4-1, it's like for every 4 hits, he hits you once or does 1 mechanic to you. I believe that's what the ratios mean. And so if you're doing those 2 methods, there's like a list you can look up of like Ohm's rotation and why you're able to run the head. It's because he has like attack, pause, mechanic, or something like that. It's some weird. It has a weird pattern you can manipulate. But yeah,
Ohm seems like a pretty good boss. Seems to check off all these boxes.
Yeah. Some of their older bosses, straight up, like Hellfight Queen will just destroy you randomly.
Yeah, she'll hit hard or she doesn't.
Yeah, it's like, oh, she hit me like 6 times when I'm praying range, and she's just hitting me with mage.
Yeah.
And she's maxing me. Well, I get 1 kill this trip. Oh, she didn't hit me once. I might get 3.
It was one of the first bosses in the game.
Yeah, like the second boss or something.
Something like that, yeah. KVD was the first.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of cool that they have this idea with, or they kind of apply these things we talked about to like the newer bosses, and it's very obvious.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I do get annoyed when bosses like Cerberus drop 2 things of lava next to each other, and like you're in between them.
Yeah.
And then you just like, boom, there's 30 damage taken. Like, you can't react to that. But I think that's just bad RNG.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, so what they're working on next. So we talked about the Hydra stuff. Okay, well, actually, I'll bring it up afterwards. Yeah, they're kind of just working on like the farming stuff.
Yep. Yeah, they say they struggled with the redwood farming patch because they don't want to make a puny little redwood. If you don't know, the redwoods in the woodcutting guild are massive, and you can climb a ladder to get. There's 2 different levels of it.
Yep, there's 8 spots per level to cut on a redwood.
6 because one side you enter it to get to the next level.
Yeah.
So you can have a bunch. You're just cutting one tree, but you're cutting sections of the tree, and that part respawns.
Or is it 3 per side?
It's 2. Yeah,
it's 2. Okay. Yeah, it's been a while.
98 wood cutting, going towards that 99.
Nice.
That's where I spend all my wood cutting. So redwoods.
Yeah. What do they call them? Lame redwoods. That's what they might do, or something.
Well, look at the picture here. It looks like they're adding the section where it's going to have the regular redwoods can be huge, but
yeah,
I would love to have something to do with construction with it. We have to construct the scaffolds.
Yeah,
so you have to like actually you can't. It doesn't just grow and now there's the stuff there.
I would even like it where with like a high construction, you build the scaffolding systems, which would be like pricey. you could unlock other parts of the guild.
Oh, that's cool.
I think that would be like,
Or also, if you're not going to incorporate construction with it, fine. It would be cool for the tree to grow a little bit faster, but then you'd be seeing people in the guild constructing the scaffolding. So it's like, let's say it takes 4 days. It'd probably take longer, but let's say it takes 4 days for the thing to grow. After 2 days, the tree's grown. But then the next 2 days, if you go look at it, you can't even get the experience yet because they're building the scaffolding.
yeah.
It'd be kind of cool. Just something that's like aesthetically pleasing.
And then you dig that shit up.
yeah.
You're like, check, yeah, it's healthy, and you just fucking just take that thing out.
God fucking damn it. Why did you let us build this for another week?
Actually, though, memes aside, it would be kind of cool to have an animation of, like, you having, like, when you dig up the redwood, it would put you in a cutscene, even if it's just one time, to show, like, where it lands.
It just destroys the farming guild.
But I honestly would like, because they're going to be adding achievement diaries and stuff.
Yep.
With this update. And there are multiple tiers, and you know how, like, you can enter the crafting guild with, like, an apron that, like, you know what I mean? It's super easy to use.
Yeah.
Crafting. But once you get
Brown
99,
apron.
you get the bank.
Yeah.
And so, like, it kind of, like, there's a reward for hitting I'm not saying you need 99 woodcutting and construction or farming, but I would like within the farming guild, I mean, we know that there's different tiers, but, like, have them, instead of just, like, you have, like, oh, I am at 72, now I'm at 82, I can do some new stuff, like, have it where it's, like, link it to the achievement diary where you do something cool, like scaffolding or digging it down and breaking it into a new path, or
maybe you get the guy that would normally give you the farming cape, 99 farming cape, and he's at the top of the scaffold of the redwood. So you have to actually grow it. Mm-hmm. People are going to be pissed off because, like, I don't want to wait an extra week to have this. It's just, well, I don't know. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope they do some, like, really interesting things of, like, progressing within the guild itself, because I don't like playing Facebook games, and farming very much feels like a Facebook game for me. So it would be kind of cool to, like, have some sort of other progression besides, like, a time sink. That
they are
like,
going to have that boss.
Yeah.
The boss you can grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so, yeah, that's it for, I guess, that part. They mention how they have, like, some of the quests finished up. All that cool stuff. And then they show, like, the art of, or, like, the map. How they, like, plotted out the map in the farming guild. With the crops and all that, and the Kebos.
Okay, yeah.
And how they kind of sized everything, and yeah, it looks interesting.
Farming guild looks huge.
Yeah, it looks pretty big. Yeah, anyways, so they also show us some, like, they've done a lot of the arc for the Slayer NPCs, the new ones, like the monsters. Like, other ones, and they show, like, the Drake walking, and they show the Sulfur Lizard.
Both look pretty neat.
Yeah. Then they just talk about, like, progress and blah, 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 blah. Stuff, you know, it's not really, I don't really think is too interesting. It's like, tell us one interesting fact you contributed. I dislike the size of the lizardman shot. You know what I mean? It's like, but I just want to bring this up. Do you think these monsters are a bit too much? Like, Alchemical Hydra's a boss, so, like, it's supposed to look, like, dope as hell.
Yeah.
But, like, the Drake and the Sulfur Lizard, I'm starting to see why people are getting worried about the artwork. Because it looks really nice, but it's getting to this point where it's not fitting the theme. Like, I understand... Like, my argument, I'm still sticking my argument with when it comes to PvP armor and bosses, where I mentioned in the past, where, like, it's okay if they have more detail.
Yeah.
Because it's a bigger and better thing. It's supposed to, like, attract, like, I want that one day, I want to kill that one day. But when it's just, like, Slayer monsters, like, I feel like they're kind of overdoing it.
I mean, I can kind of get it, but at the same time, I know, I like it. They look cool.
Like, they definitely look really good, but that's kind of the problem. It's like a game where it's like, I'm hoping this isn't the case, but I don't want someone to, like, do 75 Slayer, and then they are combat, and then they step into Slayer, and they're like playing a different game,
like
graphically. And then once they leave, they're like, "Oh God, everything looks bad. We need RSHD now. Like we need a total rework to match. We need everything to match this."
It's hard to say. Like obviously, if you're comparing this new, what is it, the sulfur lizard, looks like a gecko, and it's got a cool little moving animation. If you compare that to like desert lizards, yeah, they look like from kind of two different games. But at the same time, I feel like it still fits the theme of like the way RuneScape looks, or old school RuneScape at least.
See, I feel like it fits RuneScape 3, and I kind of feel like that with the Alchemical Hydra, but I'll let that pass because it's a boss, and like I said before,
I'm trying to look at these and then keeping in mind the way lesser demons look, right? We all know how they used to. Well, most of us might know how they used to look versus how they look now, where they got a huge graphic overhaul at some point back in like 2006.
Yeah,
yeah, I still think they fit, and I, in my opinion, I like that they're bringing up the way the graphics of these new monsters. I don't want them to have to dumb down graphics just to keep it. I don't know, but I don't know.
At this point, these guys look cooler than Jad.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Like, it's not in my opinion, it's not a debate. Like, the Sulfur Lizard looks cooler than Jad, which is weird.
I mean...
Which means, should we do a graphic update to Jad? And
I feel like maybe if you wanted to, like, take that approach, I wouldn't say change the way he looks, but maybe add some more detail, because he's huge, and he was also from a time when like that look was like a big, that was a huge graphic update for that monster, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see maybe going back and maybe adding some more, polygons, just making it look more detailed. But I wouldn't say like a whole redesign of Jad. I could see
they keep the base look, but update, like, because it's getting to the point now where like they might want to do it with like all the older bosses, and but they're not going to pass the polls.
Yeah,
I'd be
Calphite Queen. I think is fine. I think if you know what I mean, like your parent compare, like I know they're like completely different skill levels between the Sulfur Lizard and the Calphite Queen, but I think the Calphite Queen is like perfectly well designed. Like you won't ever need to update that. I'm trying to think of anyone that you might. Maybe the Chaos Elemental. Like, I don't even know what the fuck that thing is, but...
Yeah, Octopus Cloud. The Hentai Rainstorm.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, like, it looks good, but it worries me. Because it's, like, setting the bar... They can consistently pump out good-looking monsters they have for a while. And it's kind of slowly getting better and better, which is good. But now the community just has to kind of agree that we have to go into a new HD to make it all fit. Because I don't know, whatever.
But then again, I'm a big fan of HD. You know what I mean? Some people hate it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
like I honestly like old Lesser Demons, and I like old Fire. Like,
yeah, I guess
I liked like the 2003-4 era graphics.
True. Yeah, I guess it depends. Like. I'm glad that the Lesser Demons got updated. I'm glad all the dragons got updated. If you remember how they used to look.
Oh yeah, they looked awful, but it was great.
So, I don't know. I hope going forward that they continue to do work like this. But I can see where it gets tricky, where they might want to revisit some old content and not change the overall design of it, but maybe add some more detail to it, like Jad.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah. We'll continue on. So they have a login screen competition. Wait. Actually, we didn't talk about the worm, which looks dope as fuck.
Right. So let's just back her up real quickly, because they had some of the J mods were answering what their favorite parts of working on this project is. So it's kind of interesting. But so Mod Kieran talks about how his favorite thing with it is learning the farming code, and how farming actually works. So he talks about how it was interesting to see the way snapegrass grows for the first time. He says it was very epic.
Nice. Now that's a victory royale.
Mod Ed says his favorite things were creating the 2 new quests that are going to be coming with it, the Forsaken Tower and the Ascent of Arceus. And Mod Ed seems to be like a big lore junkie. He was the one that RuneFest 2017, he's the one that came out with Dragon Slayer 2. He's the one who presented it. Mm-hmm. And if you remember, he he was super passionate about it. And his enthusiasm showed when he was explaining it.
Yeah.
And people were just hyped. People were hyped regardless, but just because of the way he explained it and he proposed the idea, made everyone that much more excited.
It was just like Dragon Slayer, and then he just goes on Paint and just puts 2 next to it. And the crowd freaks out.
Anyways, the reason I wanted to bring that up was because they mentioned the 2 quests, and I guess this is where the worm's coming in, you said?
Yep.
Although I believe it's going to be also a Slayer monster you can kill.
I don't know if that one specific... Is it that one specifically?
I don't know. I do remember them...
Is it a boss?
They're only having one boss, which is the Alchemical Hydra.
Yeah.
They did talk about how, when they're talking about all the new monsters that'll be introduced, worms were one of them.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to fit that category of, demonic gorillas.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it. Looking at the animation, you see thunder strikes going around it and the shit. Anyways, yeah, now I guess we got some competitions that are going to be happening.
Yeah, login screen competition. Get those Moparscape memes going, because you see them every time they do this. Be the first one to post, get that juicy karma. So, first prize, they use your login screen. You get a Wacom tablet.
I don't know.
What kind of UK product is this?
I almost feel like it's you could be winning an iPad Pro. Yeah. What's an iPad?
Yeah. Microsoft.
Macrosoft.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, first place is also going to get Premier Club Gold. On account of your choice.
And a 12-month sub to Adobe Creative Cloud.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
So you can get all that, Adobe auditions and stuff. Not bad.
Yeah.
That's expensive, too. That's $100.
Yeah. Second prize, Silver, Premier Club Silver, on account of your choice. And you get the 1-year sub to Adobe Creative Cloud. And the third prize is the Premier Club Bronze and the 1-year Adobe Creative Club thing.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty neat. And then they have the same thing with when they have the Dragon Slayer 2 competition.
Right.
The video competition for the lore. They have Kurend Stories So Far video competition. So they want you to make a video to tell the story of Kurend. And it could be ambitious, telling the entirety of it, or specific elements of the content. Just go back, listen to the lore, rip off everything Dilz said about Kurend. Actually just straight up take the audio and then do Draw My Life on YouTube.
Yeah.
Get a whiteboard and just quickly draw it up and erase parts. You could do some shit like that. Maybe get some royalty free banjo music in the background or ukulele.
If you're gonna cut out the first part where it's this week we're gonna talk about, so it just has that 4 times.
And this week cutting out the ends and the start. Yeah. Yes, if you want to do that, I mean, we'll sue, but feel free to do that.
Yeah, we don't really have the money to sue, so we'll have to represent ourselves, which is just a waste of time.
Let's just say I won't win, but I won't stop complaining and bitching about it.
We will waste money.
I will, what's the word? What's the word when you're in politics or something where when you filibust? That's the word. I would just filibust the whole. No, it's when you just take up all the time. Let's say you have an hour left in your court session, and I would just sit there and bitch for an hour straight. And it's all right, court, we gotta come back another day. But we're not paying money to have lawyers, and you are.
Yeah, that's one technique.
It'll bleed you dry, gormless. But yeah, anyway, so you can submit your submissions to oldschoolcommunity@jagex.com. Include, the Kebos Lowlands Zia video on the subject or the long screen competition. And have a link, to whatever. So if it's the video, the video you're submitting on YouTube, include it in the body of the email. For the video, can't be longer than 6 minutes. Include your RSN in the body of the email as well. And even until January 3rd, 2019 to submit this.
Both of them, yep.
Yep. For the video competition, you get a video showcase, the Kebos Lowlands release blog, and a $1,000 Amazon voucher, Premier Club Gold, and second place is $500, and third place is $250.
What's a video show? Oh, your video showcased, and
yeah,
Kebos
they'll be like,
Lowlands.
on this update, look at this video.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So you can have your Twitch stream link in there and stuff. Get
Yeah.
some free advertising.
yeah, just advertise like a private server the first 30 seconds. Yeah, that is it for that stuff.
I guess on that note, so I'd fallen behind on some of the Q&As. I think that I missed on the last 3 of them. So I went back and watched them. And they talked about some interesting stuff in regards to the Kebos Lowlands coming out. And they talked about, I think it was right after RuneFest or something, everyone was given 3 days to do whatever they want to get inspiration on content and stuff.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting. And Mod Kieran said, a bunch of guys maybe, they did their work at home maybe, or they went to the pub to brainstorm. But Mod Rye went through a hike, and he went to some mountain and hiked it.
There's mountains there?
I don't know. I don't want to pull up
I just thought it
Google
was
Maps.
just streets. just narrow streets that horse and buggy can go through.
Maybe it was just a hill.
Oh.
Anyways, he hiked up to the top of that hill or mountain to get inspiration, which I thought was pretty cool.
Maybe it was just an apartment building.
He just went to the top floor.
Yeah.
Or he just didn't come back for a week. He's like, "Where did you go?" "Sorry, I hiked a mountain." Where?
Dude, you smell like shit and you didn't shave. I climbed a mountain.
To get inspiration. That's how dedicated I am. But you're working on the farming guild. What the hell do you need inspiration? Yeah.
Hey, dude, maybe read some of Mice and Men. Farming Guild.
I haven't read that book in so long.
They are on a farm.
Is that it?
Yeah, they're farm hands. They help on the farm. That doesn't ring a bell at all?
Slightly. I just remember it was...
I'm gonna pet the rabbits.
Yeah, it was slightly racist.
Wow.
No to the slightly part.
Yeah. Wow.
And the teacher would when someone... Because you'd read it out loud in class, and when you got to the N word, he'd be like, no, don't
And then
say
there's
it.
that one kid who screams it.
Yeah.
Well, we came from a very white area, so that's what would happen.
Yeah, pretty much. And and then I remember the guy, he had he ended up killing a prostitute or something.
The one dude's girlfriend or wife.
Oh yeah, it wasn't a prostitute, it was some one's wife, and
Yeah.
so maybe he read it. Maybe.
Anyways, the whole point was that he read the book and inspiration for the farming guild. A lot of dead rabbits. And,
Yeah. Maybe he played some Harvest Moon and Stardew.
yeah.
That's what I would do, actually.
I probably would just do nothing for 3 days. Let's be real. I'm going to say most of them probably I'm working from home. And then they're just getting up at 3 in the
Playing
afternoon.
RuneScape to get inspiration.
Yeah.
Got 99 farming to get inspiration for it. Anyways.
Is that for the devlog stuff?
Yeah. Well, one more to go through.
Okay. I mean, I meant to say Q&A stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, yeah, anyway, so we have the Christmas event. So it is that time of year. Snow. Oh, we got no snow, but some of you guys have snow. And RuneScape, there's some snow.
In Lumbridge.
Yep.
And if you go to Lumbridge, you'll get shocked. Because I think you can turn off the graphic of it.
Yep.
But it'll flash on and off sometimes. And you're just like, how the fuck does anyone play with this on? I can't see anything.
It's like when you're doing fishing trawler for the first time, and you're I'm getting motion sickness. And so you type to you're
Playing it in VR.
So you type to Wild CC being like, fuck the fishing trawler, I'm gonna be sick. And someone's like, look on your screen, there's a button you click, you know what I mean? The top right, you can toggle it, and you're like, oh, I'm an idiot. True story, that happened to me. But snow has fallen and presents are waiting to be delivered, but who's gonna ensure everyone gets their gifts? You.
Yeah, it's you.
It's you. Spoilers. So to start this event, speak to Duke upstairs in the Lumbridge Castle and prepare yourself for some pretty odd goings on. As per usual, there's a new costume reward for completing the event, and all previous Christmas rewards will be unlocked if they're not already, along with all music tracks related to Christmas. So it's deliberately small. It's not a big one. They've had some big ones in the past.
It takes no time to complete it.
Yeah. I mean, they have a lot of things to do, and, you know.
I like the way they word it. It says, this year's event is deliberately quite small as we wanted to fulfill our promise to spend less dev time and graphics on the event.
Yep. And more on content which stays in the game.
Yeah, okay.
Firstly, we had a brainstorming meeting where the whole team invited to submit ideas. We sorted through them, picked some straws, shortest straw won.
And then
literally, whatever was the shortest idea. No.
And they choose one that could be achieved with minimal graphics.
Yeah.
I love how they're just like, yeah, and we picked the worst idea, basically. You guys voted for it. You guys voted on us spending close to no time on it, so we voted, you know.
It's not our fault.
Mm. Yeah, this was quite a challenge, as some of the ideas were really awesome, but were just too big to develop.
Yeah. I personally prefer this approach, though.
I like the big... I don't know, it's...
Because...
I don't know.
It goes one of two ways. And usually, it's gone content, like forgotten.
Yeah.
But then the odd time, there's some that really stand out, like Michelin Mystery, the Halloween one that became an actual quest.
Yeah.
Free-to-play quest, which, like, super... I can't believe they made that knowing or assuming it would be gone in, like, 2-3 weeks forever.
But that's what I liked. It showed... I felt it painted a bigger picture for, like, the type of devs we have, where they're so passionate about the game that they will make quality content, even though they know not everyone's going to do it and that it's going to be out of the game after a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I liked it. It was kind of almost a principle on their passion, almost.
Yeah.
So instead, like this, they're like, well, we have to do something, so we might as well just, all right, you're the intern, go and do this, and here's what you get to use. You have an hour to come up with something. You know what I mean?
Anyways, like, do you remember? Like, I still remember doing the Christmas event to get the scarves back in the day.
Is that the one where you have to go into the elf, like underground elf workshop?
Yeah,
yeah. So that was a big one.
Yeah, I remember like being a little kid, and I was there for hours because I had zero reading comprehension at that age. Like, well, in general, I haven't got any better, but like. Yeah, like I remember like running around and trying to figure out what to do, and then like a couple hours later you leave and you get all these cool ass scarves, and you're like, man, I'm gonna mix and match these.
Yeah, they were pretty neat.
Yeah, so the free trial prompt. So with new players trying out the game in response to mobile launch, many of whom don't know RuneScape or its subscription model, we've been using this prompt for a while now to let them know about their options. However, the message screen we've been using is very plain. We like to see whether the new players respond better to the one with more functionality and illustration. Yeah. They're changing the free trial prompt.
Okay.
PvP world rotations. Pretty much it.
You haven't had the chance to do the Christmas event, have you?
No.
It's very...
I mean, I've had a chance, but I've been playing PoE.
Yeah, gotcha.
Been addicted to that game.
It's very basic. It takes like no time at all. You have to deliver a few things to like 5 people in Lumbridge, and
what do you get?
Okay, so spoiler, but you get a Christmas. You basically get a Christmas tree outfit. It's not bad looking. It's way better than the
Easter egg.
Yeah, the Easter egg football outfit.
Yeah.
So you get like a top and bottom that looks like a tree, and then you get like a star helmet thingy. It's not bad. And then you also
can we get an ugly sweater?
That's not a bad idea.
Like I've been waiting. Jagex, come on. Just an ugly, just like bright red with like a green shitty pattern.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's an easy one. You can change it every year too.
Just, if they wanted low effort, and like, how could you hang on an ugly Christmas sweater as an outfit?
Yeah. People would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very basic. It took me like no time at all. I didn't have to even read any guides. A little disappointed on how boring it kind of was. Like how like last year you went to
you went to Santa's like
lair, anti-Santa.
Yeah.
and it was kind of neat. And then there was a bunch of jokes about like testicles and shit. If you remember, like, oh, this sack is a lot of sack jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sack is full of pee. Pee is stored in the balls. Stuff like that.
Yeah, something like that. When you go first talk to Duke, though, he says like a joke about, not a joke, but it's kind of interesting. He references all the new players, all the new faces he sees there, you know, from mobile launching and whatnot. Yeah, and then Mod Maz added a little, I guess, Easter egg, snowball,
Christmas treat.
Yeah, Christmas tree. Anyways, if you go to the cows in Lumbridge, but not the ones that most people go to kill for leather. If you go to the one that's
ones,
yeah, the
northwest?
Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
You kill some cows there, and they'll drop a cow tail. There's like 3 cows you can pin it on. So then you click it, and then there's like a rotating cow. But then after a few seconds, your screen goes black, and then you have to click. And depending on where you click, and the cow's still spinning, that's where the tail is going to be stuck to, and the cow will just be walking around with it stuck to it there on their body.
Face or something?
Yeah, I kept doing it. I kept getting in its face and like ear and stuff. And I was like, I'm going to sit here and do this until I get it on the actual part to see what happens. I must have been like 45 minutes because it takes a while to get the thing. I just couldn't do it. And then I was thinking, I don't even know if you, I mean, I'm sure you could do it, but I kept getting the face.
It's probably intentional.
It might be, yeah. Anyways, it's a cool little fun thing there. I don't think you get anything. It's just Mod Maz probably a little salty that the event's so minor.
Yeah. And I believe that's it for the updates.
Yeah.
Well, the update. It's pretty... I guess this one, and then are we having one next week? Or is it like... Because this is the part where, like...
They normally don't. So next week... I feel like we won't for so the Thursday, that'd be the 27th.
Yeah.
I doubt they're going to be having an update for that because, like, why wouldn't they just shut down from the 24th to...
It'll be the 20th to 27th.
20th, yeah, we'll probably see something.
Yeah, but the week, the 20th to 27th. There was always one week where they don't do any work. They slack. It's like this one or the new... There's one where they don't do an update.
So the 19th, so when this is out, will be their last Q&A of the year.
So my phone's itchy. Go on.
So they'll probably be taking off a week and a half. I was going to say 2 weeks, but then again, originally they were going to bring it out for January 4th, so they're probably coming back right in the new year.
Yeah.
So on the Tuesday, I'm sure they're coming back for it.
Yeah.
All right. So there's not going to be much news for next week, but it's our Christmas special.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to do our Christmas special, and then the week after that, I'm probably going to mention this afterwards anyways, but we get to do our best of the year.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember last year when we did that, and revisit our RuneScape resolutions and see how those went.
I start planning because I already know one of them that I didn't quite do, or 2 of them.
I don't remember what mine were. I guess we'll move on to the big thing that happened over the weekend, which was the Deadman Mode tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So we had, the big tournament happened. Yeah, it was pretty standard. There were some issues, not really much controversy. I say not much, but there's a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean the stream would drop from time to time.
Yeah.
They were having technical difficulties where it would just cut off. They would start hosting a streamer named Foe, and he got a lot of viewers from that, obviously, right? So it was good for him, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I'd say it was pretty successful. RuneScape, the old school RuneScape category on Twitch was number 3 with over 100,000 viewers.
If you want some controversy, I can stir some up right now.
Let's do it.
Do you think Jagex should be hosting the biggest streamers after their Deadman? Or do you think they should be spending more time looking at quality streamers like myself? I'm totally kidding. No, but like the smaller streamers that stream consistently and stuff.
What do you mean?
Because Foe isn't the biggest streamer, but he's definitely top 5.
Yeah.
In terms of just like him, and like he's in RuneScape. Paul, the Iron Man.
Okay, yeah.
That's Foe. Yeah, like he and Adam is Bodhi. Because they're the people that created Iron Man mode.
Basically, yeah.
They were like, we're making characters. They're like the first people to start it that didn't cheat.
Yeah.
There are some people.
Bodhi had his, what was it, one-man army series?
Yeah. And I've noticed Jagex does this a lot. They always seem to host, like, a small circle of streamers that obviously they benefit from it, but, like, they don't need it. I mean,
You're saying they should have, like, streamers already set up that maybe have 100 or less viewers that they could host them instead?
Someone that's there are some streamers that, like, I don't watch them, but I've seen them that stream like 5 days a week, and they do the, like, it's RuneScape, so the content is very limited. But in terms of personality, like, they're nice, they're interactive, they have like a little community that they're really trying to grow, all this stuff, and they put an effort, and they've been doing it for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't it be nice if Jagex were to, like, look at that list of people?
I mean, I guess it's tough. I mean, that's definitely nice and would make somebody's day. Like, you host Foe or one of the other bigger streamers.
You're like, nice, dude. My 4,000's now at like 100,000. It's gonna be a nice little boost for the day.
Yeah, he's like, cool. This is pretty neat.
Or not 100,000, like 60,000.
Yeah,
yeah.
But if you did do that to a smaller stream, you would definitely make his day.
Like, or like, yeah, his or her, like their
make their day, like, which is nice. It's a very awesome gesture.
But even then, like, it helps the community a bit more because, like, in terms of like the old school Twitch category, I am not lying because I used to stream. They weren't good. They were like just me fucking dicking around, right? But there was a time there was me and 3 other people, and there was like 10 collective viewers, and I had the majority of them in old school category, and everyone was still in RuneScape.
Yeah. Like, made the switch a while back. Yeah.
100%, because I would click it because someone came and be like, why are you like, and I would look because like people I'd be raiding with would be like, look, watching it, and then some of the wild boys would be watching it. But like, then you see there's like 2 other people, and one is like some chick who was playing or who was grinding Zulrah, and the other person was making a new Iron Man, and that was a whole category.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's really weird. And then the whole switch happened when it's like Jagex was like Bodhi and like Foe and Alfie and I'm out of names.
Mr. Mammal?
Mr. Mammal. Like all those people. Yeah. Once they like made the switch, then everyone followed because like Wooks and the big names are there. And so like it's kind of weird though that they're like hosting some of the big names where like specifically that person that was streaming Zulrah has streamed like almost every single day since I first like noticed them.
Yeah.
And like they do their best to do good content, and it's kind of like, I'm not saying it's not like up to Jagex to do it, but like, do you think they should make an effort to try and vet some streamers?
Yeah, that's
like,
what I was gonna say. You need to vet them, and you need to do your research because you host a small streamer. One, you don't know if he's gonna start.
I'm playing Fortnite N-words.
yeah, that, and he might say some racist shit. He might just
like, I love the pussy.
I don't get it.
The meme?
No.
See, there was
this is where I started feeling like 40
was
years
it like
old.
Soup that was streaming on the RuneScape channel and his roommate screamed in the background, I love the pussy? He's like,
yeah.
So fun. We're on the RuneScape channel, mate. Yeah.
So that could happen, and then also you'd have to vet them and make sure they're going to be able to you'd be able to handle that. Imagine just you get 50,000. Some people are going to get like an anxiety attack, and RuneScape community. You don't want to.
So you find like good streamers.
Yeah, you have to vet them because you don't, especially someone who's like not equipped to handle it. If it came out of nowhere, and they do something like I don't know.
Well, okay, if you're like streaming consistently for like months, you probably want to have a lot of viewers. That's why no one like.
Yeah,
like I would stream and expect no viewers. And be like, oh, I have like 8 people watching. That's kind of cool. But I like honestly, I put like no effort into it. I put more effort into like making stupid YouTube videos.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? Like but there are people that like clearly they got the face cam with the green screen, and they're like, I have a nickname for my subs.
Yeah.
use my PayPal. Like
those
people
quit.
like they want
a chance, basically. So I get it. It'd be cool to kind of like, okay, here's your chance. Don't ruin it. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
not even that. It's just like,
when I say don't ruin it, I mean, we're going to give you we're going to host you. You're going to have a couple minutes where 50,000 people are going to watch you.
90% of them are instantly going to close, but that's okay.
But make it count. You know what I mean? Like, this could be what gets you started. So it is a nice gesture to do. You do it to Foe and stuff. He's just going to be like,
well, he'll be grateful, but
but the excitement, right?
Everyone who like plays RuneScape and like likes watching RuneScape Twitch streams, they know who Foe is.
Sure.
And so in terms of exposure to like what the community really has to offer, it doesn't help really, because like I only say this because I don't watch many streamers. I have like there's like three, like honestly there's like three Twitch streamers in general that I watch, and they're all very different, but like two of them are like funny as hell, and then one of them is just like not. It's more serious.
I don't really know why I follow that guy.
Yeah, but like there's like three, and I don't watch any RuneScape streamers because I don't want to watch. I don't like. They're just not. They don't have my sense of humor, I guess.
That's the thing. Like, there are some very good, personable people who don't get many viewers just because it's very hard. It's an ocean, right? You got to make yourself stand out somehow.
But what if people are in the same position as me, right? And you're tuning in. Like, I watched all Deadman like at final hours and stuff, except for this one, and I'll explain why later. And it would be kind of cool instead of seeing Foe or Bodhi or someone to be like, hey, who is this person? Huh? I actually like watching this person. Like, add this to my list. They're small. Who would have thought? Like, this person's actually good. Like, everyone has to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I know that I'll go through and check some of the smaller streamers, and a lot of them I'm like, okay, I can see why no one sticks around. But there's this one guy who always stood out. He was doing Vorkath, and then every 10th kill, he would give away whatever the loot was going to be to one of the people watching. And I was watching him, and the dude was actually like pretty funny. And I was like, I don't know why I didn't follow him. I thought I did, and I just don't know the name now. But it was someone that I was like, I would come back and watch this person because it's like, first off, it's a lot more like personal and intimate, I guess, because like there's like 5 people watching. Yeah, it's not just a flood of people, and so like there's some people that sure could deserve the shot, but then at the same time, the problem, and we're probably going to dive into this a little bit in a little bit, but I feel like it's just it's safer to go with one of the big streamers. You host a female, God forbid. What's the whole chat gonna do? Yeah. They're gonna lose their minds, and they're probably gonna be like, Mod Matt K, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
The only reason we're watching this is because this guy likes to hit on these smaller streamers, and it's just
allegedly.
No, yeah, it's just
it's a meme. But
yeah, it's a meme, and it creates
it's not
controversy.
True at all. Don't worry, guys, it's not true at all. But like,
no conspiracy music yet.
So yeah, I don't know. It's just something to like think about, because I know
it'd be cool.
Yeah, like
everyone roots for the underdog. You know what I mean? Give him a chance.
I personally like have more enjoyment watching smaller streamers. Mainly, my one friend got me in on this, where he'll like Control F Jad, and then just go to the bottom of the list and start looking for people doing their first Jad attempts.
Oh, that's cool.
And then watch them, but then clip when they die. And he's got a massive list of just Jad clips of people dying to Jad.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, and it's really good. And then you bump into some like just some noobs playing and having fun. I remember, I think I might have mentioned this before, but I bumped into some dude he like lost his whole bank. He sold his Void twice.
So for what?
Points. Like, he sold it back twice. He's just a noob, right?
Okay.
Yeah, anyways, it was like me. I was just watching. It was like me and like another random person or one of his buddies. And he was solo PKing at Revs with broad bolts and a rune crossbow. And he was just solo PKing at Revs.
Yeah.
Did I mention this before?
Yeah, I think you have.
And that's still one of like my favorite streams to watch, because he was just like dying and be like, oh shit. Oh man, someone's watching. Don't worry, I'll go back out there. And you see him like sell off like diamonds to buy, you know what I mean? And you hook him up and you see him get kills, and he's like dusting kids all of a sudden, and then he's like, nice. This is like It's a good arc of a stream, you know?
Yeah.
And then you get the guy that is like, yo, he's just like smoking bowls while he's PKing, and you get him to smoke like 5 bongs. And he's just like, I'll do, man. I'll never say no to a bong. He's just like, this is funny. Like, I don't condone this, but it's pretty funny to watch happen. Anyways, we should probably move on, though.
Yeah, some food for thought. Anyways, point is, the stream went down at times. They hosted Foe instead, but eventually it picked back up, and they would carry on. The shoutcasters for this one was Ian and Mod Ayiza.
Was he dead the whole time?
What do you mean?
Did we talk about this? During the wilderness, or the PK...
tournament?
The tournament, how
PvP?
The PvP tournament.
Oh.
Ayiza was like pale, and you could tell he was just dehydrated, and he's just like talking with dead look in his eye, and there's like a part where he's like, I need to go for a bathroom break or something. And he kept mentioning how he wanted to go on a break, and it's been like, I really should have taken that break. I cannot. I've been here for like 6 hours straight. I haven't moved. And he just sits there and keeps mentioning it because he's so out of it. But like,
yeah, I did talk about that. Was the one where you weren't able to make that episode, that podcast, but I did talk about that, and yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then near the end of it, he starts talking. You know, I got my second win. I'm feeling great. I have so much energy. He mentioned it like 4 times. It seemed, but it's too funny. So yeah, those two were the ones who shoutcasted it. And I think Mod Archie was the one who was like hosting basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, everything seemed to go pretty good. There was a very cool moment. So they had a few, as usual, streamers on stage. Bodhi, MMORPG, Manked Up Mage. And then the other one they had was Fool's Justice, which is from the Fool's clan. But there was a pretty cool moment where when they're in their final areas, where you before the 1v1s.
Yep.
So everyone gets funneled into these areas, and it's just chins and barrages basically until there's enough people, and they all get teleported to the 1v1 arena. And Fool's Justice was there, and it was like only a few people left until they were all going to get teleported, and he had got frozen and then de-speared right to the edge of the final area.
Yeah.
And then someone used the Vesta's longsword and pushed him right out into it, and he got one hit from the gas. But the way it played out was pretty damn cool. Like, just outplayed. I didn't look at it and go, wow, that's such a broken mechanic, but you're just like, oh, he got owned.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to see the Vesta's spear spec, which was like, it creates a wall around you, right? Pushes everyone away from you, and it pushed him right into the fog. We got one shot.
That's cool.
Yeah. It was a really cool moment. Yeah, 1v1s happened, and they were great to watch. They're pretty good. And yeah, the winner of this tournament was Her Non-Klaplar. It's just a bunch of random letters. The problem with Deadman Mode, everyone changes their name.
Yeah, and they intentionally make it like hard so you can't call them out.
Yeah.
The clanning moments.
But he was a Frontlines member who had won.
He goes by another, it's like 1 NYN or something. I don't know. He actually has a YouTube video of winning this tournament.
Oh, yeah?
And it's kind of cool. No commentary. It's 7 minutes, just like the highlights of him going through the 1v1 brackets. And it's cool because he's on a lot of Adderall. No, I'm kidding. But like, he's not like super, like you see some, there are some NH pure fighters at Edge that stream.
Yep.
On Twitch. And they're like, they switch so fast that you're kind of like, it's a little suspect that like they might be using AHK scripts or something.
Yeah.
Like, or like if you look at Commnity, like those people just are so good at switching where like they outplay their opponents by being able to like 5-way switch a tick 6 times in a row. Like that type of like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously this guy's good at switching, but like he is so like good at punishing. Like they'd make a mistake, you could like spot him doing patterns, and the second he was like, this guy figured out my pattern. Like, obviously it's a bait, and then he would like change it up with like a fake. Like he would switch into like his mage gear, and then at the last tick switch into like his range gear and bolt. And like it was really like he's like really good at tri-Briting. But then it's also funny because he was talking smack the whole time. Yeah, he cuts out in his video, and you could see it in the chat in the stream apparently. Or something. People were saying he was talking mad smack to his opponents mid fight, which I think was pretty funny. But like, yeah, he's got a video. You just Google like winning $20,000 Deadman. It's like 1 and something. But apparently it was his first time entering.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like amazing. He's really, really good at like it's just nice because usually when you see like tri-britters, you're like, I can never switch that fast. But this guy, you're like, he just understands, like he's like playing mind games, and he like knows what he's doing. He's not just speedy.
Yeah, overall it was a pretty good tournament.
Didn't you like do like a nutty KO, like a 45 vest longsword spec to win the tournament? And he also like he had decent gear going in, and obviously he was a good level. But he also was outgearing his opponents. Like, I mean, he had a lot of fights where his opponents outgeared him by quite a bit, and he was still able to like take them out. Like, it's like a 7-minute video. I actually recommend you guys like check it out. It's pretty cool.
It was pretty good. He was facing Demonic Bolt in the finals, and yeah, he was able to KO him with a 43.
Yeah.
But the cool part is Demonic Bolt still had 2 Karam bombs left.
Yeah.
So he didn't eat. You know what I mean? He could have ate, and he had more food.
Yeah.
Than the guy who had 1 Karam bomb. So
yeah.
Those are like the best fights where it's not like you're exhausted from your resources. It's
and the gas.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's nice to watch a tri-brid win. So I didn't watch the final hour. I said like 6 times already. What I did instead was just like watch YouTube series.
Yep.
Normally I do both. Normally I watch like what I'd do is I'd watch the finals, and then I'd go and like up until I'd watch the day ofs that everyone's like Mika and Torvesta and everyone like when they posted like day 1, 2, and I'd follow that each day. Just because I find it interesting to watch them do the same thing over and over again. Mika spending 20 hours a day doing Slayer.
God, fun.
Yeah. But like instead this time I started off by watching like Torvesta's progress backwards, kind of. Like I watched his final hour, and then I watched day 1, 2, 3, 4, and I watched it like that kind of.
Okay.
I might have watched like one or two randomly throughout the week, just like it's on the side while I'm playing PoE, talking to my buddies, and I just found like it made the YouTube episode like intense. Because Torvesta didn't win, obviously, but like there's moments where you're like, I was actually at the edge of my seat, like, oh, like he gets the kill, and you're like, nice, like, oh, it makes it way more intense and like more fun as a casual viewer.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I don't know, I just like kind of wanted just to see like as someone who take it from like more of a casual standpoint in terms of like watching it for the sake of like entertainment as opposed to like content for the podcast. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I guess either way, they're both good in their own ways, right?
Yeah.
The YouTube highlights versus whatchamacallit, the actual final hour. Yeah, it was kind of cool. They were talking about how the Fools Clan, they had won the tournament previously, or one of the previous tournaments, and they used that money to bring out a bunch of members to go on a giant cruise together. So that's kind of cool. And they were talking about that if they had won this tournament, they would rent a house or something and then fly people over. I guess they're all in the same country, right?
Yeah, they're Finnish, so
yeah, so
they're finished.
But maybe if some are living somewhere else in like Europe or something, they could fly over and they would spend maybe a weekend together. So it's kind of cool that the clans are doing that. They're not just taking it and buying bonds and shit. Yeah, they talked about for next season some of the biggest changes that they are doing, and the biggest one is they're going to have rotating weeks of double drops. So,
some items would be dropping this week, some items would be
not double the rate, but so for the first week they said it's going to be Rev Caves. So I guess it's a way to entice people to go there. And
so when you say double the drops, you mean like 2 drop at a time?
So the way he had worded it was 2 of the same drop.
Yeah, so you get like a 20 U log notes, but you get 2 of those drops.
Yeah, right? Or let's say you're one of the weeks it's the Slayer Tower, you might get 2 Abbey Whips.
Okay.
So it's kind of interesting, and there's also now a global drop table where every monster has a small chance of dropping, and I believe the example they used was an Abbey Whip, Abyssal Whip. So a level 2 man has a very, very rare chance of dropping one. And then the higher combat levels, then you know what I mean? It's kind of interesting. They're changing things up for sure.
I think it's because they noticed that Slayer meta is super overpowered.
Yeah.
Because with a Black Mask, you get really good melee range. You know what I mean? Like you get specifically melee experience.
Yep.
Because you're more accurate, doing more damage. But then you're also getting Slayer experience, which gets you, to Abbey Demons and Gargoyles. Like we're able to just train and then make a bunch of money at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that, you can power your skills.
Yeah.
So I guess they're changing it up.
Yeah, and they do it every season, but that's a pretty cool change. We'll see how that plays out and if they keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deadman Mode in a nutshell, I suppose. Which I guess it's fitting to move on to some of the community chatter that's been going on. The first one we will talk about is some unfortunate news, but our beloved mod Ayiza had his final day at work on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So he is no longer working at Jagex, and yeah, you can follow him on Twitter, probably Twitch too, at Ayiza TV. But yeah, he was the community manager. He said he's still going to come and do, hosting and some of the events like Deadman Mode and the PvP tournaments if they allow him to, which is nice to see. But yeah, he's no longer going to be, with the Jagex team, which is kind of sad news. I remember when he first started and the controversy that first rolled out with him.
Was he Skilling guy?
He was the one that said he wanted to make, the way he worded it was wrong, but he basically said he wanted to reward more experience for harder things, sort of.
Yep.
And people all were just like, so you want Winter Todd for everything? And he had to come back and basically no, that's not.
That's literally the exact opposite. Yeah. Like if you're willing to shell out 3 ticking, you should be getting more experience.
Yeah, he had to reword it basically.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he put in his 2 weeks, I guess. Yeah, his reason was that he has some family issues back at home, and he was commuting 3 hours to Jagex one way would be 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And him and his wife had a house, and instead they decided to compromise, and they rented a property for him to work, live at during the week, and then go to work, and then on the weekends he'd go back home. But then with some family issues, he decided he wanted to be closer with his family. Yeah, he has a video explaining why he's leaving on YouTube or Twitter. You can check it out where he kind of just explains all of that. Do you think that's the truth, though?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, okay.
Probably knocked his lady up and she was like, "You can't go!" I hope probably not, actually. I mean, honestly, if you're married to someone and they're gone 5 days a week, but then they're working, but they have to drive through, that's definitely will take a toll on any relationship.
Yeah, and plus if you're living at home, driving 3 hours one way, what do? You come home, eat, shit, shower, shave.
All at the same time.
Yeah, and then go to bed.
Yeah, eat a protein bar while you're waffle stomping in the shower.
Disgusting. Do you think Mod Jed has a hand to play in this?
Probably. You know what actually probably happened? He gets home one night. She leaves her Twitter open. She says he sees a DM from Mod Jed. And she's like, "Can't believe Ayiza is prioritizing Jagex over you. ... I would never do that."
And then at the bottom says "sent from jail." There. Sent from
Rot HQ.
Rot HQ. Maybe that
a
happened.
Ditch. A dump. Literally a dumpster. But,
Mod Jed pulling strings.
yeah, probably. Yeah, no, it sucks.
Probably not.
He was probably the most popular. Well, after Mod Ash, he's probably the second most popular dev? J-Mod?
Yeah, well, he was interacting with the community, directly all the time, right?
Yeah.
That was his job, a community manager. Yeah, a lot of people, interact with him quite often, right?
So who's our manager now?
Mod Jed. No.
Put us in there. Fuck it.
That's a great idea, isn't it?
Where's Deagin? He's look at my Jagex Deagin. He's commenting on PoE.
Yeah.
Is this belt any good? He's linking items I get in the game.
But yeah, after the news of him leaving, a lot of I don't want to say outrage on the subreddit, but a bunch of artists that Neve artwork and
Yeah.
basically
memes.
Let me see.
Yeah, a lot of the renowned artists. Like,
Slewword, oh man, why are these names like this? Ayunk, Zahar, Presleek. That's a pretty popular one. He's been doing comics for RuneScape and Old School and RuneScape
I think
3.
She? I think so, yeah. Anyways.
My bad.
Yeah.
It's just because it's always a male character that they use in the comics.
I think it's
Anyways, Presleek, they're a very popular artist. Riot Est Retro, UIM Herblore, Trinky, and NY Channel. They all kind of got together and made a big tribute for Mod Ayiza.
No, like, Angelscape or, who's the other person?
Oh, I know who you're talking about, too. The wallpaper dude.
Yeah.
Oh, Legend Arts.
Yeah, Legend Arts. That sucks. Like, maybe their art just didn't work with the...
It was done in, like, one day, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because, like, they found out about it. His last day was the Friday. They had, like, 2 days to scrap something together.
Yeah, why is he dressed up as, like, a DBZ character?
Because that's his Twitter picture.
I guess so.
His Twitter picture is of Mod Ayiza. He's got, like, the Super Saiyan hairdo, and he's wearing the outfit that Goku would have. Yeah, it's pretty fitting. I definitely recommend checking it out. I think I posted it on the Discord, but it's a bunch of characters kind of saluting. Obviously, Neve's there. And Mod Ayiza's doing the home teleport.
Mm-hmm.
So nice little tribute from the community there. But with one Jagex mod leaving, we had one joining the team. Mod G. Or G. I can't remember.
Is it like UI? GUI?
GEE. The reason I'm mixing it up is because in the Q&A, one of, I think it was Mod Kieran, called her the wrong one. Anyways, it's a new...
and you know how we are names and words on this podcast.
No kidding, eh?
So we'll just say Mod G, but the letter G.
GEE.
No, but like we're going to call her Mod G, but because it starts with the G... We're going to forget there's 2 E's, like a short term, right?
Yeah, it's like when you have that teacher who's really cool and you call like Mr. T. Yeah.
I pity the fool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, she joined the team and she is a character artist. And she was the one who did the Sulfur Lizard, which looks pretty good. And she had done that in her first week. Yeah, and if you watch any of the Q&As where she's on it,
so
don't look at chat. Chat is just flooded with...
eggplants and water droplets.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice. Good job, guys. Really, really doing us proud, you know. Who's the new community manager? Better not be Mod Archie, because he was not
I like Mod Archie.
He was not good, though.
Was he ever a community manager?
I think that's what his original job... I think he came in as a PvP guy, but then just started doing community management and...
Yeah, maybe.
Hosting Q&As. You remember that?
Yep. So some things that have kind of been talked about on some of the Q&As the past week or two that I thought was interesting was Mod Kieran was talking about... Well, he just mentioned a little fun fact about the agility pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
So everything on old school RuneScape has no more than 4 floors. So if you need to go to a 5th floor somewhere, it'll teleport. It secretly teleports you somewhere else to like a new area.
Mm-hmm.
It still looks like you're on the 5th floor, but you'll be somewhere else on the map.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little fun fact. And then they also talked about group Iron Man, which is something that everyone's been asking for.
Don't know why.
I mean, I can kind of see the appeal, but I feel like it's going to go the same way as Duo Slayer. A lot of people don't even know that it exists. It's because it came out and nobody liked it and nobody used it because of... Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I can really see interesting is like streamer collaborations. I would have preferred like Ultimate Iron Man groups, honestly, to come out first. That like no banks, no Zara storage, like none of that. Like actually, I take that back. She could have used that so hard to make alts.
Yeah,
I think never mind. I didn't say anything. Cut. I don't know. I just think Group Iron Man is bad.
It's
not bad, but
it's a cool idea. But there's so many issues that you would need to work through. Like, I think about it, I'm like, it would be cool to do a group Iron Man for the clan chat, Wild CC. But what happens when you create one and somebody else wants to join now? Or you create it and then people start dropping off as time goes on and it's just you.
Or someone just, like, can I borrow this? Boom, de-ironed. Peace.
Yeah. But just imagine, like, you create one for the clan chat, then eventually new people join the clan chat and they're like, I want to get in on this. We'll make another one. Make another group.
I'm assuming there would be like, you could, let's say there's 10 slots and you just add people to it.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
But then, you know what I mean? Instead of like 3, 2, 1, log in, log. Oh, you lagged. So now we got to make a new account. Like there's probably like a decent system to make it like.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, these guys get 12 people, but we get 4. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's probably going to be like, if I'm guessing, if they're going to be really lazy, they're going to completely steal Barbarian Assault, where you get the scroll, and you have to use scrolls on other Iron Men that have, like, fresh accounts.
Yeah.
Like, they, like, sit in a jail or something. I don't know.
Would it be cool with a hardcore Iron Man that when somebody dies, they get kicked out of the group?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
That'd be really cool. I'd like that.
It's just like adding insult to injury.
Yeah. But that guy had my ass. He had our SGS.
Yeah.
My main thing is that there's going to be that one person in the group that has more time than everyone, and they're going to become resentful because they're going to be, I'm doing all the work.
Yeah.
It's going to just ruin friendships. There's going to be like that one guy that slacks off and doesn't do his farm runs and just sniping potions, and you're like, dude, we're just doing like fun, you know. And I'm trying, like, it's gonna cause a lot of arguments. But I guess if it goes well, it could be really fun. Like if someone's like, I only like to do Slayer, and someone's like, me too. Let's see how far we can. I don't know.
Yeah,
like it could be cool.
I don't think it's a bad thing to bring in. I just feel like there's so many logistics to get through that it's not going to be what people expect it to be.
And it's not going to be
like,
worth the time.
Yeah, they do want to bring it out, they said, and they're working on it. It just takes a lot of engine work because I think they have, even with high scores, right? You have to add in the groups. Like, what are you going to name them? Like, is it going to be like
they need clan citadels before they do this?
That'd be sick
because like they need like because then you could like have like. Now when you introduce clan citadels and you have an Iron Man group, it's going to be weird. Now you have to like I honestly feel like, and I'm surprised at this point that like they're not pushing for clan citadels or like guild halls.
Some clan housing, people love that shit.
If you want to sell the idea, don't call it a citadel. Just call it guild halls or something.
Yeah. And
take the 30 ideas I've thrown out this year for that, because I think this game needs that heavily. Cause, yeah.
It's cool. It's a fun thing, and it's like your own little headquarters. It'd be cool to have events there and stuff. You know what I mean?
Call it Rune HQ.
Yeah, Rune HQ. It's good.
Yeah.
So they are working on it. It just takes engine work, and that is something that's kind of on the back burner, but they are still talking about how they want to bring it out. Anyways, enough of what's going on in the game. Let's jump over to some lore.
Yep.
This week for lore, we are wrapping up the Slayer bosses with the Thermonuclear Smoke Devil. We don't have a whole lot of information on these monsters, but what we do know is the Smoke Devils were gathered into the cave that they currently reside in, which is the Smoke Devil Dungeon, by a man named Breve. Breve is the uncle to Neve and Steve. The man who's been smoking all of his life. He was asked by Neve and Steve to gather smoke devils and keep them within the cave. And within that cave, not only are there normal smoke devils, but there is the mother or father of them all. Thermonuclear Smoke Devil. Unfortunately, that is all the information we have on the boss. We don't know where they came from or how they exactly got to be the way they are. Next week, we will move off from the Slayer bosses and move on to some of the bigger bosses within old school RuneScape. And we're back, and we get to head over to the GE and sell out a little bit. Do some begging.
Yeah.
Money doubling.
Do some flips.
Epic
flips. Buy those fire runes at 5 GP, sell them at 6.
Hell yeah. And how are we going to do that? By talking about Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/wild to get... There's probably a bunch of marketing and stock books. Definitely, right? On how to trade and whatnot. So go there and check it out if you're interested in that.
Yeah.
Just don't get mad when you lose a bunch of money because you're competing against computers.
Yeah.
Those things are intense. Anyways, audibletrial.com/wild. You get a free book and a free month. Check it out. Or you can support us directly. Will this be the money doubling part? If we're going to keep using that Grand Exchange analogy? Anyways.
Well, then that implies you're scamming.
True.
So, money doubling? Yeah, Patreon.
Yeah, you can directly support us at patreon.com/thewilderness podcast. And our supporter of the week is Taylor Garofalo. So thank you very much for supporting the show. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're not gonna get your money doubled. I was thinking maybe if I won the lottery at some point, but no.
No, pro tip, if you ever win any big lottery, because like the none of us that will, because you're more likely to get struck by lightning, walking to buy your ticket.
Yep.
Don't put it away and just sit on it for a whole year. Statistically, the people that win lottery lose all their money within the first year.
Yeah.
So hold it for a year and boom, you've beaten like 90% of the people, but also taxes and stuff.
And get a lawyer too, a good lawyer, and try to help him. He'll help you. If it's a good lawyer, they'll help you figure out what you're going to do with it. And I've read like tips on Reddit where it's like, put away X amount of money and figure out who you're going to give it to. But go to a lawyer first to plan out all the logistics, and he'll help you figure it all out. I say a good lawyer though, because I remember someone won like the Powerball lottery, and they won like millions, hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
And their lawyer said, we should go to the news with this. And they go into the news talk show, like the morning show, and they talk about how this couple had won like $500 million. And the lawyer was there with them on the show. And I remember thinking, and like reading the comments on YouTube being like, that's like the worst thing you could do. Mm-hmm. Now all your family members are going to be like, where's my money?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's,
dude, just don't say anything. Take it up front. Keep it up. Just let it chill for a year and figure it out. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah, it's so hard to do though. I always like to think, what's the first thing I would do if I won like $500 million? The very first thing. If I won it right now, what would I do?
I'm telling you right now, you wouldn't know for a year. No, I would tell no one for a year. Like I would maybe I won it 4 months ago. Who knows? No.
So you could technically double everyone's money on Patreon. We're gonna find out in a year.
Yeah, you guys will find out in a year. No, but like, just because like, I don't know, you try to.
How could you sit on it? I'd go on. The first thing I would do is I would go on Amazon and buy all this useless shit that I did not need.
Couple of magic sets.
Yeah, just the card game or like wands and
like the magic. Like I learn to do some, the
probably.
Office.
No, I don't.
There's there's a part in The Office, if you guys have watched it, where like Oscar, the accountant, you guys have seen The Office. Oscar's explaining to Michael on like he's got like a graph of like things that like there's necessities and there's luxuries, and then Michael Scott has this big thing of things that no one ever needs. He's like 3 magic sets. Yeah. Pretty much that. That was the reference.
I feel like I'd be so tempted to buy bonds and ruin the game for myself.
Really?
I feel like I don't know.
I would just like buy bonds within real world trade and get banned.
Yeah. Put it back into this. You're helping everyone out.
Yeah.
Jagex and
I'm helping out Venezuela.
The gold farmers.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you very much for supporting us on Patreon, and thank you to everyone who is also doing that. We greatly appreciate it. You guys are the best. But now we're going to move on to, I guess, podcast news, stuff that's going on with the show, because we have a few things we're going to be talking about. We have a trivia night that is planned for January 4th. There's going to be some more details we're going to figure out for that, and we'll bring out to you next week. But yeah, if you want to come hang out and have some fun trivia night and win some cold hard cash.
Well, gold.
Okay, yeah, gold. And I don't know if it's going to be cold either, but
it's going to be hard.
Unless it's in Lumbridge because it's snowing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if that's something you're interested in, January 4th is the date that is set. Keep your eyes and ears peeled. And yeah, we have our Christmas special coming up next week. What does that mean? It means we'll be just drinking like eggnog over here. I don't think much else changes. And we'll wish you guys a Merry Christmas. But after that, we have our New Year's special where we get to revisit our resolutions from last year. And we will go through all of the updates and all the events that have happened this past year. And we'll have our survey where you guys can vote just for fun, but vote what your favorite things were. Last year we had like the best quality of life, the best nerf, the biggest controversy / conspiracy, all that fun stuff.
Well, we already know who won that.
Yeah, it's no brainer there.
Yeah.
Well, there's been so many good ones this year, though. The bug for max cash, or how about when they turn a normal world into a Deadman world for 5 minutes? There's been so many good ones.
But there was also Mod Jed, who
is in jail.
There were some people that, did a podcast that foretold this for many a months.
Had a little That's a Raven moment.
Yeah.
And found that one out. So, yeah. That's for the New Year's episode. And then following that, there's something that I'm very excited for, but we're going to bring out a new segment to the show. It's going to be a surprise, but it's a small one. It's not going to take up too much time, but it is perfect timing, and yeah, I'm excited for that one. Anyways, before we move on to how you guys can get a hold of us, we got an email this week. From Maticos1, and he says, "Hey guys, first I'd like to say awesome show. I love listening to it every week while I'm folding clothing and doing my Sunday meal prep." I got to fold clothing tonight. That's just reminded me. Anyways, here's my question. Is the current old school RuneScape community stronger than the RuneScape community in the actual year of 2007? So is the community today stronger than it was back in 2007? And I was thinking about this because I don't know, I think it's a tough one to answer.
Well, what do you mean by stronger, though?
I can't ask him.
That's my. I'm going to answer your question with a question. Tune back next week for our answer.
Yeah.
So I think the community, because back then there was more players.
Yeah.
So that alone just meant that there's a good chance there's more people, just interacting with each other, and everyone's younger. So you're woodcutting and you're just talking to people.
Yeah. But
I think the bonds between certain people and groups, and you know what I mean? I feel like there's that is more apparent now. Does that make sense?
In a good way? I know with clan chats, you have people who are much smaller but tight-knit groups, right?
Yeah.
Although what's happening less than it was back in the day is just bumping into people and then becoming friends with them. But actual friends, not just adding them and then forgetting who they are a week later.
Yeah.
So now it's coming in the form of clan chats where you kind of see the familiar faces and you meet these people, and at least with our clan chat, everyone's super chill.
Yeah. So I think back in the day, everyone was friendlier with everyone, but nowadays there are people kind of get their group of friends and then they just play with them.
Yeah. So I feel like today it's stronger in the sense that it is and it isn't. People are much more united on certain things. You know what I mean? At Jagex, it's a different climate this time around, right? Because with Mod Ayiza, with him leaving, people were all
yeah,
they were all much more united and upset that he was leaving, but they understood. Whereas back in the day, people probably left all the time, and you're not really going to notice too much.
Yeah.
And although, when PvP got removed, riots were going on everywhere.
But even then, when we had Gay Pride Week, look at everyone who
yeah, true.
band together, right?
A lot of people were united there, unfortunately.
Yeah. But in all seriousness,
I feel when there's something to actually fight against, people will come together for it.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the Gay Pride event.
Wooks won.
Yeah, stuff like that.
There was riots for that.
Yeah.
Rune Light. Remember when Rune Light got taken down?
And people were yeah, screw this. They all kind of banded together. But at the same time, nowadays, it's much more obvious that there's it's much more kind of fractured in a sense. It's a Venn diagram, a multi-level Venn diagram of you have people who just use Reddit, and they'll all band together on certain causes that people who don't use Reddit will have no idea what the hell's going on. And the same with Twitter. But then you have people who are really big in the EHP scene, which is max experience rates, and they're all about getting 200 million experience in certain skills. So they're going to be strong, united together in opposing certain ideas versus PKers who are going to be united for other things. They're not even really united. They fight each other all the time about shit.
Yeah.
But it does seem like nowadays people are much more united and like it's a stronger community. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's because
it's smaller, but these people have been playing since 2007. You know what I mean? Like, it's like
for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, like typically the people who play now, or maybe actually not now, because like the game's like mobile has really been proving me wrong in terms of like how much it's been holding its player base. Like I'm really surprised like the numbers we're still pulling.
Yeah, 102,000 right now.
Still over 100K. Like I did not expect that. Yeah, there's a way more passionate, dedicated fan base than there was back then.
It might have to do with the reason that RuneScape 3, you know what I mean? Like the people who were playing, a lot of people played that, and then EOC came out and it got ruined. So they came to this one, and now they're all just like, no, never again.
Well, not just that, but like they've been through the thick and the thin.
Yeah,
they could handle Jagex at their worst. So, you know,
let's get them at their best.
Yes, now we deserve them at their best, right?
Yeah,
that whole thing. But
the line to every healthy relationship.
Yeah, live, love, and laugh. That's the new old school motto.
You shouldn't be worried when I'm mad. You should be worried when I don't get mad.
Yeah, realize.
True shit.
Yeah, got to go back to my MSN status for that one.
But yeah, I would have to say it's a lot stronger these days, and because we all have a common goal, which is basically not letting Jagex ruin old school RuneScape.
Yeah, well, the Chinese overlords.
Yeah,
the mining company that owns us, technically.
That's true.
Speaking of, well, not really speaking of, but no, I was gonna make a stupid joke. Never mind. So I'd say yes and no. Less people, less friendly, more united.
Yeah. More united. It's very weird, but yeah, I agree. So, yeah, let us know what you guys think, because it's yeah, I feel like people are a lot more closer in a way, whereas back then like you were just friends, but no one really cared about the game itself. It's more about like yeah, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, thanks for the email. Appreciate that. If anyone else has questions and stuff and they want to email us, you can do that at thewildernesspodcast@gmail.com. You can hang out with us in-game at WildCC. Our Twitter's at thewildernessRS, and our Facebook is facebook.com/thewildernesspodcast. You can also jump into our group if you want to discuss things of RuneScape on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we have a Discord. You can find that link on Twitter and Facebook as well. You can come hang out with us in there, which is really the best place to get all the details of what's going on there, because it's just the most easy way to keep in contact with everyone. And yeah, that's basically it for the show. With our resolution episode coming up, write us in and let us know what your resolutions are. I'll have to pull up our document from last year, but I know we had at least like one or two people, or a couple people at least, write in their resolutions. So maybe
so we're calling you out.
Yeah, pretty much. So we get in contact to see how those go.
Yeah. Swashbuckler 488, did you really get 32 Herblore?
Haven't seen you logged in months. Anyways, our song of the week is going to be All's Fairy in Love and War.
Yeah, this is a Path of Exiles song, right?
I thought you were being serious for a minute there. Unfortunately, and surprisingly not, but it is unlocked on old school RuneScape at the Fairy Resistant Hideout during the quest Fairy Tale 2 Cure a Queen quest.
Mm-hmm.
Was released July 2006. And it was created by Adam Bond. So yeah, that's it for episode 114. Till next week with 115.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, have a good one.